For 6 years. 6 years. Minus about 3 days in those 6 years. I got blackout drunk every single day. I would wake up at about 2:30 in the morning to start work. Get to work at about 3:30. I would rush through my shift, get my route done as fast as I possibly could. I'd get off work at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, drive straight home, run straight to the freezer, pull out a bottle of bourbon with my backpack still on, my work boots still on, my keys still in my hand, take off the top and start pounding bourbon right out of the bottle. I would drink about a third of it within maybe about 5 minutes. Then I'd start in on the Bud Light Platinum was my beer of choice. I'd have 1 or 2 of those, polish off another third of the bottle, and about an hour in, I'm about 4 beers in and about 3/4 of a bottle of bourbon, a whole fifth of 100 proof bourbon in about an hour. And that's about the last thing I would remember. I would polish off the rest of that bottle, maybe even start in on another one, finish up a 6-pack. And I would pass out sometime around 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, having no recollection of half my night at home. Then I'd wake up the next morning, my alarm going off, hungover. Eventually got to the point to where I wasn't hungover anymore. It just wouldn't affect me. There was no hangover. I was never hungover. I'd get to work, start my shift, and that's when the shaking would start because I was starting to detox. I'd sit there through my route shaking, my hands shaking, trying to write my paperwork down, hands shaking. At about noon, I would start sweating, needing that drink. And I would tell myself on the way home, I'm just going to have a couple. This will be the last night. Just going to have a couple. And then I go home, polish off the bottle in a 6-pack, wake up, do it the next day. I was still going to the gym. A lot of days, I would go to the gym for about 30 minutes, trying to not drink, trying to keep myself from drinking. But I'd quit, go to the liquor store, leave the workout, go to the liquor store, buy a bottle, rush home and start drinking it. And I did this, like I said, for about 6 months, 6 years straight. And then finally one day I woke up and I was having a talk with my family and I said, I'm done, I'm not drinking no more. And I was done from then on. I had a good friend of mine who I went to the gym with. He was one of my martial arts buddies from years and years and years ago. And I was talking to him and he knew my love for Strongman. He knew I wanted to do Strongman. And I was about 150 pounds at this time. I weighed about 150 pounds, skinny, fat, alcoholic body. Like I said, I was still going to the gym and lift. I've always had naturally athletic physique. And so I always looked like I lifted a lot more than what I really did. But he taught me into doing Strongman. He said, sign up for your first competition. You're not going to be ready. You're never ready for your first one. He said, just sign up and I'll do it with you. And he did. I quit drinking. I started training. And I've always been a student of learning. I've always had this insatiable hunger for knowledge. And I've always had a need to continuously study everything that relates to training and nutrition. There's pretty much nothing that I don't know about nutrition. There's pretty much isn't a quote-unquote diet that I haven't tried, just simply because I want to know what it does and how it feels. And I want to learn how different macronutrients react in the body at certain times. So I've learned how to manipulate macronutrients and manipulate diet, manipulate calories in and calories out to get a wider, just every kind of outcome you would want, whatever your body, whatever your fitness goals, whatever your nutrition goals. There isn't a way that I don't know how to get there. Same with training. I've competed in CrossFit, I've competed in Strongman, I've competed in Powerlifting. And I did all this maintaining a physique that was about 4 or 5 weeks out from bodybuilding stage ready, very lean. There were times, of course, when I was there were times where I was going to go up a couple of weight classes, and weight classes 231, 230, and most guys weigh about 245 to 250. They cut down to 230. Well, I would be going in at about 198 pounds, so I tried to put up a little bit more weight. I'd get up to about 204, 205. I also became one of the best people at cutting weight. My last weight cut was for World's Strongest Man, and I cut from 204 pounds down to 174 pounds within 30 hours. I spent about 3 years straight studying every bit of medical information, PubMed studies, anything I could find on how to cut weight. Of course, there's no medical journal that's going to tell you how to cut weight for a competition. It's going to tell you how to purposely dehydrate yourself. But what I had to do was learn about the hormones, the different hormones that control that. It's that kind of discipline and dedication that I developed over the course of these years in order to get to my goals. I was the most disciplined and most dedicated person. I had unstoppable drive when I set my mind to something. However, the only thing I did not do, the only thing I failed to do from mastering the body and mastering the mind, I failed to master the ego. And so now that's what it's going to be all about, is combining all three, body, mind, and spirit. Combining mastery of the mind, mastery of the body, and mastery of the ego to be the highest, to reach my highest self I can possibly reach.